Hi, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about environmental policy. So what I'm showing you right here is the EPA's website. I'm sure most of you have heard of the Environmental Protection Agency. The EPA is a federal government agency that is responsible for responding to natural and man-made disasters. It's also responsible for managing clean air, clean water, hazardous waste. They are responsible as a federal agency for ensuring that certain federal laws related to the environment are followed. So our topic today is environmental policy. We've got some notes for you, and you're going to open those up. Environmental policy, when you think of the word policy, what comes to mind? When we're in school, we have a dress code policy, we have classroom policies, Virginia Beach City School Board has policies. And so a policy is just a formal set of plans or certain regulations and laws that are used, in our case, for environmental issues, looking at them and then trying to solve environmental issues by making informed decisions. So when we're making environmental policy decisions, of course, we're going to rely on the science. That's the observations, that's the data, that's the evidence that supports understanding a particular environmental challenge. But we also are to take into consideration, as we've spoken about before, certain social and cultural conditions and even certain belief systems, because different people living in different parts of the world or even different parts of our own country may have different priorities and different understandings of the environment in which they live or the resources that they have available. So it's a little complex. Speaking of the complexity of environmental policy, the media plays a very important role in framing public opinion. Think about, where do people get their information? Do they follow the science? So I know you've spoken about in English class about propaganda and persuasive techniques in terms of media, not only social media, but major news outlets. You know how important it is as a scientist or as a student of science to go to a reliable source of information and not just one, so you can get the facts and understanding particular issues. Last thing here is environmental interest groups. Those are organizations like the Chesapeake Bay Foundation or the Rainforest Alliance. Even if you think of an organization like the SPCA, any organization that advocates for a particular cause, they've got a certain interest, and their goal is to influence public opinion and or policy. So in a little bit, you're going to have an opportunity to watch a video that is going to explain some of the history of environmental policy in the United States. When we look at policies and laws, we're looking at issues like air and water pollution, chemical spills, oil spills, water quality, of course, endangered species, habitat protection, waste disposal, think landfills, think Mount Trashmore as an example. So there are all kinds of issues that need to be regulated with various policies. I'm going to go back to the EPA's website. As you can see, they have a tab here on laws and regulations. They've got a tab on environmental topics, and you can see what a wide range of environmental topics there are that the EPA is responsible for. Back in our notes, I'm going to scroll down. The environmental policy video that you'll be watching, I want you to watch it one time without worrying about taking notes. When you watch it the second time, you'll complete this graphic organizer with details. You're not going to turn it in. You're going to keep it in your folder in your environmental notebook. These are important things we would like for you to focus on. The last one got cut off a little bit there, but there are 3 well-known environmental laws. We want you to jot those down. What is the EPA? When was it created? What is NEPA? NEPA was the first federal legislation in the late 60s, even before the EPA was founded. And this National Environmental Policy Act mandated that environmental impact statements would be completed whenever there was a federal project or whenever businesses were going to conduct a project that might alter the environment in some way. Silent Spring, definitely need to know about that. And what was the first cause of environmental problems in the late 1800s anyway? What started humans? What type of human activity was the first type of activity that kind of result in issues? Think the Lorax. All right. So take a look at that video.